Oh my God.
I'm so fouled out right now.
I am so
You come
foul.
up with some shit sometimes.
And I didn't come up
What
with
was
it.
that term you just
Ass
used
hot
off
spankable
camera?
when
Ass
she
hot
called
spankable.
her when I did coffee talk and I said, well, I'm much hotter than Brittany, and you went, she's ass hot spankable.
ass
And
hot.
I didn't catch what she said. I'm like, she's what? And he goes, never mind.
Well, I thought
And
he was trying to like corner me into
seriously,
saying,
I didn't know what you said. And then after we got done, I'm like, seriously, what did you fucking call her? And she
Ass
goes,
hot
ass hot
spankable.
spankable. I'm like, okay, that's good.
yeah.
I was talking about waffle
Waffle
stomp.
stomp.
What is
And
a
I don't
waffle
even
stomp?
know if
You
that's it.
step on your poop in the shower and push it down the
stomp
fucking
down
drain.
through the drain.
Yeah, gross. I didn't know there was a term for that. I did that only once in my life when I was so shitty drunk I had it coming out both ends. I was in my college dorm.
I am getting
boy.
faked out.
My college dorm. It was out both
serious?
ends after a Taco
It's
Bell.
so hot in
fucking
here.
What is it?
Stop.
nickel beer.
Was it a communal shower?
Oh, yeah.
You're just in there waffle stomping
I'm
it up.
puking
oh,
and
no.
pooping and stomping and pushing it all down.
Literally,
and yeah.
we just got
boy.
I
canceled
have
in
never,
2026.
I've been pretty.
Yeah.
I've never been drunk enough. I had to do it.
I
No,
just
me
couldn't.
either.
I was like leaned
I'll
up
pee in
like
there
somebody
all
was
day
frisking
long,
me
but
and just
other
went.
than
"Bleh."
I'll pee in the shower.
It was everywhere.
I'm so
I
gross.
also I pass gas wherever. And in fact, on Luke and I's like first date,
rolling?
I let him, we were holding hands walking, I believe it was like down the mall or something. And I said, just walk ahead of me. And he
Why
let
would-
go,
oh,
he let go
yeah,
of my
okay.
hand and I was like, he goes, what are you doing? I said, I had to fart. And he was like, oh my God. From then on, he knew what he was in for. Yeah.
I
So,
wait
here we are. I'm
until,
not modest.
I usually like to wait until Mike leaves in the morning because he leaves before me. And then I let out my morning whatever, and Mela looks at me like, what the hell? And I go, I've been holding it in this whole time to keep the love alive between your father
That is
and I.
very
This
sweet.
is how you start a podcast.
Meanwhile-
right here and now.
Already on, don't worry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is.
Luke
I
and I-
said, "Are we rolling?" You went, "Yeah."
Luke and I
Nothing like a
Dutch
little good
oven.
potty talk.
Yeah.
As we get things going for
And
2026, babies.
Luke has this thing where I have such good olfactory scent. Like as soon as it leaves his butt, it's in my. And I'm like, "Pit, Luke." He gets the biggest kick out of it because I'm like, I don't know how I smell things so well, and I don't know.
See, I've got such bad sinuses, I can't smell anything.
Oh.
You have to drop a bomb for me to like notice it.
Oh, well,
Mike
Luke
is
could.
his burps, and I'll be like, did you just burp? He's like, how did you even?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I blew it out the wind. Like, how did you know? I'm like, I know everything.
guys are
I know
very, like-
everything.
You have an etiquette surrounding that. Our etiquette went out the window.
I don't-
Ella can hear everything.
Yeah.
She's
I mean,
got bat ears.
Yeah.
I mean, I growl. I can roll my eyes from the other room when she
can
wants
hear.
me to do something. Like, I know you just rolled your eyes. I'm like,
That's
how
just
did you know
that's
that?
just behavioral patterns. She knows what to expect.
It's a good marriage, just
Yeah.
all around.
Yeah, 100%.
33 years.
33 years. That's excellent.
She's the luckiest woman on the face of the earth.
God. 2026 though. So
Yeah.
All right. Any resolutions? Are you guys resolutions?
Y'all are getting your butts in shape. That's one thing.
No,
Yeah.
I don't do resolutions because I feel like I'm just great. But no,
You
I'm
can't
kidding.
perfect-
Except for when your hamstrings pop while you squat.
Yeah.
you
Okay,
know.
so I do have a resolution to work out. Thank you to Dawn Fleer at the training room. Thank you, Bob Goff, for putting this partnership together where I think we're actually going to have to do it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. No
Yeah, it's real,
excuses.
girls.
Shit's getting real in
I may
2026.
get dragged into it too. At
Yeah,
some
you're
point.
gonna have to.
So yeah,
I
because
mean,
Ellen
nobody-
even suggested. I said, "Hey, they're going to do this thing with Fleer. It's going to be cool." She's like, "Why aren't you doing it?" And I'm like, "Oh well."
Yeah, why
Family
aren't
affair.
you doing it?
Family affair. Yeah, so really looking forward
Because
to that.
I don't feel like it.
Yeah, right.
I should. I really should. So I probably will end up doing it.
I
So
guess
I just
speaking-
want to see if she kills you first. If you survive, maybe I'll do it.
So she said the other day,
Something about puking.
one of her clients was like, "What are you going to do if they puke on camera?" And she goes, "Well, I guess we'll just." I said, "Well, I guess we'll just clean it up and move on." But then I started thinking, I was like, "Oh my God, I'm totally going to be the puker." I have no.
I will not. I'm sorry, Dawn. I am not going so hard that I might have to puke.
Your thing that we're gonna air next week. You were really good because you were because she was very supportive about not going. You were like, "I want to do this, I want to do that," and she says, "Hey,
Yeah,
take a
hold-
chill,
yeah.
Take a chill pill. Take a chill pill.
take a
Start
chill
small.
pill, girl."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, ease into it.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, okay.
I
She
think
taught
it's
me
good.
something that I've never heard in all of my years of trying to exercise in my, physical fitness journeys, plural, But she's the first person to ever walk me through what she walked me through. You'll have to watch and find out what that is.
Yes.
But it's very rudimentary. It seems like a very rudimentary skill
Yeah.
or technique that no one has ever bothered telling me. So
I've been trying to master that skill that I watched you do, which I
Yeah.
won't talk about,
Yeah.
and try to not fart at the same time. So
it's a good one.
there you go.
Okay, so real quick before we move on, because this farting thing's got me. I'm not on a roll now. Okay, so in high school we're talking about exercising and farting. Remember when you had to have a partner for like when you were going through like the
Square dancing?
No, like the
Like
flex arm hang and the racer
Presidential,
run and
the presidential
fitness.
Yeah,
challenge.
okay, yeah.
Okay, so you had to do sit-ups, right? And your
Yeah.
partner had to hold your feet.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, partner.
Did you guys do square dancing in PE at any point?
Yeah, we did.
No.
Yeah,
did.
we did.
I mean,
So
yes,
your
I went
partner
to.
ran around.
I went to Mark Twain High School in Rawls County, Mo. So you know we did.
We
square
did,
dancing.
yeah. We also
And
did
you have a barn warming? You didn't go to barn warming, did you?
No.
No barn warmings.
barn raising. No.
Barn warming.
No.
It's like it's the FFA thing. It's an FFA dance.
No.
Fundraiser for the FFA.
No, but it
in
sounds
small
fun. Maybe we
schools.
should bring that around
It
here.
was a lot of fun.
We did
in the day.
roller skating.
I would
and
assume they'd call it a barn coming.
Hey now, barn
Hey.
warming. God,
some
Randy.
Ran Cam
Taking it to
over
the
there.
gutter.
He's getting it. Cameron. He's getting it.
No, we did
Okay,
those
okay.
the roller things, you know, that
Yeah, the
are
roller
your, like
skaters that you roll over your fingers.
fingers. Yep.
Yeah.
That.
Oh,
Oh, those were so much
Yeah.
fun. The parachute.
The parachute. Who
We did
didn't do the
pickleball. That's
parachute?
where pickleball was introduced to me.
Really?
I loved pickleball. I'm so
Badminton.
glad that we have like,
Friends
these
of mine
courts
are
coming.
trying to get me to do it.
It would be cool.
Fun.
And then, but Attorney Tony Cameron said 70% of sports injuries for people over 50 are from pickleball.
That's because that's the sport they're playing. So you have to look at your.
And I guess you can't really get hurt playing golf.
I mean, yeah, sure you can.
Well, not
Speaking
the way I
of
play.
golf,
Depends how much alcohol's involved.
Thank you,
Amen.
guest.
I mean, there's corks, there's
Yeah.
hazards.
Yep.
we're still guessing on our guests as we previewed on
like my-
the
my golfing
Morning Muddy.
sweater?
Yeah, I
My
love
wife
your
said I
golfing
look like
beautiful.
Mr. Rogers.
He wore that on the Morning Muddy, but now you're dressed down with your
Yeah,
t-shirt and
with my-
whatever. But on the Morning Muddy, we previewed our guest, but didn't tell you who it was because we wanted to leave it as a guessing game.
I wonder if people can guess by
Still don't know.
the
I had something else I want to bring up.
voice.
One more thing that I need to bring up.
You bring up, and I'll think of what I had before she.
Okay,
put me
so
off
New
track.
Year's resolutions. My new New Year's resolution is to start looking at my phone more. I mean, I know that
More?
sounds messed up.
Wow,
But
okay.
like maybe paying attention a little bit more.
Focusing?
So yeah, like I have 900 things coming at me all times of the day, and I think I'm the multitasker, and I usually am doing like 5 things at once. Today, I was doing a little something for myself. I got a blowout.
That a blowout is beautiful.
Thank you. I got it done from my friend Chrissy Duran. She's entertaining the fact of doing a blowout bar, which I'm trying to like really push her to do.
Yeah.
You know,
Would that work for me?
yeah, sure.
definitely do it.
No, but we were calling them blowies at lunch because she was on her lunch break and gave me my blowout.
Is that
And
a good term to use?
I mean, I think it would sell, but
Sure it would.
I feel like my hair has never felt better, so thank you for that. And I wasn't really paying attention to my phone while it was happening, but I was talking with a potential client who was on a thread with what I thought was Bob and myself. However, the other number didn't even register in my phone, and I didn't notice it, and I just kept going. And we're like 15 text messages in talking about a potential date spot to talk about some sponsorship
Business.
/ advertisement, and the third party comes in and goes, I don't think I'm supposed to be in this thread, guys.
Well,
And I'm
me.
like,
at least
what?
you weren't talking shit.
No, I know. Well, I mean, when do I do that? Let's be real.
Only
Whatever.
publicly. Yeah.
But no, it was like, I'm like, I still kind of want to know, who are you? So maybe after
You never
this,
said new phone, who dis?
Yeah, no, I do. I got to figure it out,
Yeah.
though. Who is the mystery third party?
The one thing I want to talk about, you being the best bartender in Quincy, and you being a retired, but you're a member of the Quincy Bartending Hall of Fame, although you're sort of half-assed out of
Yeah,
retirement.
I'm back in.
Okay.
She's back in it.
Back in.
What is,
Never fully
and
escaped.
obviously we are not
Pull the Philip Rivers.
Philip Rivers.
Yes, be quiet. We are obviously not participating in Dry January, but what are your thoughts on Dry January? And I know it's not a good, it's not great, because isn't this traditionally the slowest bar restaurant month of the year?
Well,
January?
I think that can be attributed to a few things, but yeah, I do think a lot of people try the dry January. I think that like any New Year's resolution, January is the worst time. It's cold. We're just getting over like spending all this money and didn't have really a chance to relax or kind of like be ourselves. Obviously, we're overindulging, but January is just such a shit month anyway. I mean, for the most part.
What else is there to do?
Yeah, so I'm like, dry January. If you're doing it, kudos, man. I think if you have the discipline or the drive to do something that you want, I don't care when you do it. I think good on you for making yourself a promise and sticking with it. I just don't know that January is a good month to start anything new or fresh because it is just kind of a suck month.
Well, today, as this airs, this is what's it called when you're because people do the resolutions, but it's like
This is where they blow it.
yeah, this is like the Friday. It's like
Yeah.
screw it Friday or something effed up Friday. There's a term for it to where your resolution. This is the day your resolutions die.
That wasn't on the National Day list.
It wasn't, but I'm just saying that's generally what it is. So
I'm choosing to be what they like to call Quincy sober.
Yeah.
So like I
Which
just saw the movie Anaconda, the remake with Jack Black and Paul Rudd.
Yeah. So, is it funny?
So good.
Yeah.
It was good. A joke in there was one of their characters goes, "I'm just gonna be buffalo sober," and they're like, "What's buffalo sober?" Like not the dark alcohols, but the clear ones.
Oh, there you go.
And like not the real beers, but the light ones.
Not the Tito's, but
and
the
yeah,
twisted
so
teas.
I'm going to be Quincy sober, which I guess just means drinking moderately.
Yeah, there you go.
that's what
Moderation.
I've done that for Lent before to say, okay, I'm gonna not give up hard alcohol and just drink beer and
Yeah.
wine.
I did a dry month. I did a sober October, but I called it California sober, which I didn't come up with that. California
Yeah.
sober is basically you're just eating edibles
And
Yeah.
through
smoking
the month.
dope and okay.
Yeah. So
Okay, so I'm going to be Quincy sober,
There you
like I
go.
said.
Perfect.
And that's,
Rumple mints only, right?
yeah, that's
light
what
color-
that is.
yeah, light booze.
That's light.
In the morning
It's
with
clear.
your mouthwash.
we
I'm
go.
just kidding. I'm kidding. No.
yeah. Well, okay. So resolutions, they don't always have to be about quitting something. It can be about starting something new.
Sure.
Our guest, it seems like he's always starting something new. He's always got something in his pocket. He's also our first ever Club Muddy guest that he's coming back to
Yes.
kick off
Yeah.
2026. I did want to point out real quick though, you'll notice in the clip,
You're gonna see a clip here of the very first Club Muddy guest intro. So that happened, I told you the date now. I
July
forgot.
something.
July.
July
2023.
23rd, 2023. So about 2.5 years ago. So Club Muddy started with Bob, Frank Murphy, Ashley Conrad. They sat around the round table. Eventually, Frank kind of wanted to do his own thing.
Frankie wanted to talk about heavy political stuff. And
Yeah,
Ashley
he
and I
wanted
didn't
like a Joe Rogan-esque podcast, which he got. And like if you
And Ashley
have a
wanted to
chance,
talk about farts. So.
yes,
well,
listen,
balance.
listen to Frankie Say when you get the chance, and then out of Frankie Say then came Frankie and the Clits, and all the things have evolved. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But
What do we do
this
here?
round table thing evolved where it was just the club. The Muddy Buddies, I
Yeah.
guess, discussing. And I kept saying, no one wants to hear our shit all the time. We need to interview somebody. And we modeled it a little bit after Bob's dream was Bill Maher's Club Random. So that's where you see drinks and conversation and good times. And then I wanted the guests to come in like a model with Smart List, where they, come in together as a group and then you bring in somebody cool. And we brought in somebody cool the
we did.
first time. I was out of town during this first shoot. I was really sad to miss it. I'm sad that I have to miss this roundtable one, but I kind of wanted you guys to come back together, make it full circle. So you're going to see a clip of the very first part of Club Muddy right here. And like Ashley said, you'll notice a friendly, familiar Fig
Yeah.
in the background.
Some things change, some things stay the same.
That's right. We'll be right back.
Old school tracks like damn. Can't get enough of this mode like I don't even know where I am.
Yeah, that's how we do it. We professionals get this all rolling.
No, half the time we don't have audio. We're like, shit. Well, I guess we're not gonna put
like
it out.
happened like
3 times, maybe.
yes.
That's realistic. That's not me
You
busting your
failed to
balls.
mention you've done it 3 times.
No.
Yeah, no.
More than a year.
Yeah. How long have we been doing this?
More than a year.
Okay.
Started like last May.
All right, and this is our first guest
Yeah, under the new format.
under the new format, which is pretty badass. Welcome.
Yeah. Adam Booth, by
Yeah,
the
Adam
way.
Booth. Yeah, sorry.
Thanks, guys.
Local entrepreneur and businessman.
He's a local celebrity. He doesn't need an introduction, but this is
Facebook
awesome.
warrior guy.
Facebook warrior. Hey.
Yeah.
No, you know what? To be fair, I agree with, I would say 99.5% of what you comment or post, and I
You
think it's
agree
awesome.
more with Adam Booth than you do with JB Pritzker. That's what you're saying, right?
I mean, that's not
That's a compliment.
yeah, that's not a very big challenge, but
In the not too distant future, the Illinois Theater will be turned into a performing arts center. That's on an upcoming Muddy River Gems, brought to you by Dot Foods.
We're aiming for a multi-purpose civic center. So this lobby area will be able to host a lot of different things and make this a family-friendly location.
It's going to be quite a trick, isn't it? Yes. So we'll take the 4 theaters, we'll open them back up like it used to be for one large auditorium. There'll be a separate kind of black box theater, a smaller venue for them as well. But yeah, we'll take this kind of chopped up area and turn it into one big usable space for the Center for the Arts. That's coming up on the next Muddy River Gem, brought to you by Dot Foods.
Over time, if a case goes unsolved, the victim and the family don't get justice. And it's important that not only we get justice for the victim and the family, but that the perpetrator involved in the incident is held responsible.
Adam Booth, welcome back.
Welcome
Good
back,
to see you, brother.
my
Been a while.
friend.
Been a while.
So there's,
Yes.
as I said, a lot of things change, but some things remain the same. One of the reasons we wanted to have you back is because you are a mover and a shaker in our community, but also being our first Muddy guest. Thank you, Brittany. Thank you, Adam. We wanted to kind of come full circle and just catch up a little bit.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it. Can we talk about what has changed in the last few years? I know a lot, but
2.5 years.
2.5 years. I know a lot.
Is that long?
Yeah, it's 2.5 years.
Yeah, time flies when you're having fun.
It really does.
But your business portfolio has completely shifted.
It has. It has.
And why is that?
Don't really have the answer other than, I guess, opportunities presented themselves that I guess allowed for that shift. And at the time, I didn't know that was a shift I would consider of, you know, the thought of being in the industrial aspects or sector was never on the radar. So
Of course, you had the laundromats and gaming machines, which of course you purchased from Trevor Beck, and then you opened your liquor store, liquor booth, and then of course you then sold all that to Rick Retke. But now your relatively still new endeavor is the Capstone Packaging. Is that what it is? And it's located on North 30th. You basically commandeered the entire old ADM site, or Mormons, if you're really, really Quincy old Mormons. And you are doing what with that?
It started off with just industrial, warehouse rent out space for warehousing, and
Because that's a need, right?
Oh, there's a huge shortage in this town on that. You know, it's your dilemma is the cost to construct new is prohibiting new square footage from opening. But so it started off with just, hey, we've got 250,000 square feet. How can I rent it out, you know, to different people? And then once I started down that road, I had a couple industries come to me and go, hey, have you ever thought about, you know, using a lot of the equipment that was in the building from ADM and Mormons? So it's like you've got conveyor systems, you have mixers, screeners to separate feed into different sizes, and for us, you have overhead silos within the building. And I was like, no, I've really figured I'd just cut them out and get rid of them.
Yeah.
So, which we did get rid of some, sore subject there, but wish we had them back.
We won't get into that. We can always tomorrow.
We're going to need more cocktails on that one.
Yeah.
But so then we got in, you know, so then I was like, well, let me see what we can do. So it was 6 or 8 months of figuring out how to make that stuff run again.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't give you a a book when they left on how to turn it all back on.
Well, and if they did, it was probably outdated. So you got to figure it out. Yeah.
So it's like, so we've got it all back running, and now, the majority of what we do over there is animal feed based. So we will bring in a lot of animal different, whether it be certain ingredients from the animal sector, and we might mix them, we might blend them, we might screen off into 2 different sizes of materials and then bag or ship out in bulk. So, it's really, we're kind of under the radar in that aspect, where we really service a couple ag customers in the community, and they're able to utilize some of the equipment that we have that, quite honestly, they don't have, because the cost to acquire that would be prohibitive.
First name that comes to mind is Fibro. Would that be one of them or no?
Yes, that would be one of them.
Okay. And again, they have really grown.
Yeah,
here.
and we've been fortunate. Fibro has been with me from day one.
Yeah.
And Fibro was one of the people that rented square footage in there out of the gate. Then it turned into, can you do this for us?
Yeah.
And
let me try.
I like the challenge.
Heck
I like the
yeah.
challenge of going, let me try to solve that problem.
Yeah. You're a solutions guy.
Because again, a lot of old school Quincy people pine for the days, back when we had Mormons and blah 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 blah. But Fibro's really doing some great stuff.
Yes, Fibro, for their situation, they have Quincy plant, they have an Omaha plant. Quincy is the main hub, and we continue to work with them on how can we keep relocating more stuff to Quincy.
Yeah.
And that's where our square footage has allowed them to move some stuff to Quincy that wouldn't have been here otherwise. So, but yeah, Fibro, at the end of the day, they employ a lot of people.
Yeah.
And they have three facilities in Quincy. And they lease a lot of square footage in Quincy, and they're kind of an under the radar to the
really
average person. But
I think it's really neat that you took something that was already standing, because another thing we always hear is, why can't we use what we have? We have all of this good space. We have all of this good architecture, and you've come in and repurposed, recommissioned these things back to kind of the glory days, and you're making good use of it. So congratulations on that. It's very, very cool. One of the really cool things is the railway.
That was the battle.
Yeah.
And it's
that's
like,
a big deal, dude.
That one, yes, that was a conversation that I started with Burlington Northern shortly after I bought the property.
Why?
And,
what was the?
Well, I was like, a property with rail that has to increase the value.
Sure.
And so as a developer, I'm always going, how can I increase the value of something? So I just felt like with rail.
And you already had some tracks there. Right?
We already had all the tracks.
Yeah, they were there. Yeah.
But what it is that spur, which starts where Mr. Dodge Charger Challenger guy had his incident.
Yeah.
That's where our
sorry,
track
dude.
starts is at the train station. And it comes all the way down across Locust Street and clear to Chestnut and grabs our facility. It serves that facility. So all the infrastructure was there. The issue is in BNSF's eyes, that was an inactive spur. So that took 3 years of conversations of, can we open this back up? Can we open this
What's
back
it
up?
gonna take? Yeah.
And it was no, and then ultimately we were kind of just beating our head against the wall, myself and Fibro and another industry, farm products here in town, and we were just kind of beating the head against the wall. And I'll give Kyle more kudos that I finally went back to Kyle and I go, can you get a team together? And he really helped assemble kind of that final charge, as you want to say, like, we're going to either get it or we're going to give up.
Sure.
And so he, I guess, started getting the right people in the right room, whatever it may be, and at least allowed the conversation to start going, instead of no, what would it take?
Yeah.
And
Let's
ultimately,
at least entertain it. Yeah.
Yeah, and ultimately with BNSF, we as a developer had to fund the repairs to the tracks. And that was the tipping point that finally said, for BNSF, it's a no-brainer for them because they're going to get the track use.
Sure.
And they didn't have to pony to fix it.
Right.
Because ultimately there's a miles worth of track in that whole stretch.
Yeah.
So it's a substantial amount of track to do, and it had been out of service since 2017.
But you were up for the challenge. I think that's just so cool.
And so it's and for us it's already starting to open some doors on things we didn't anticipate, and in a good way.
Yeah.
And so it's like, in this day and age where the cost of transportation is going to continue to rise with the shortage of truck drivers, the cost of buying a semi and finding somebody to drive it, and then the cost of fuel, it's only tilting the scales further to where industry's looking at back at rail.
Sure.
You know, and it goes in cycles. There's periods where they get away from rail, but I don't think in the foreseeable future the labor's going to change, the cost of trucks are going to change with emission and everything else. I think now is the perfect time to go, let's embrace the rail.
Yeah.
And I think, as we've talked with the industry, you start looking at it and you go, each rail car coming in is 4 semis.
Yeah.
So, it's like just Tuesday, they brought in 5 rail cars.
Wow.
That would have been 20 semi drivers
Yeah,
we'd
that's
had to bring in.
incredible. Yeah.
And it took 2 guys to bring those, and that's just 5 rail cars, and that's
Right.
really a small load.
yeah.
I think next week we have 15 coming in, and so it's like you start figuring out the labor cost if they'd had to haul that across the country with that many trucks. It's opening the doors.
Yeah.
And it's the same discussion that a lot of people just talk about with the river and with barges and with all the work they've tried to do here to get the whole Port Authority thing done. The fact that, yes, you go, if you took, and you talk about the highways and the trucks, but just think if you can get the rail to then get it down to the barges and then unload and take it down and then take it down river. So again, it all works together.
Yeah.
And you mentioned Quincy Farm Products. Of course, they're another great local company. Brian Stokes and those guys, Quincy Recycle, Quincy Farm Products. They do so much and they've grown so much and done such a great job here. I think to have those guys and to have you and Kyle and to make this all come together. And there are other companies that can use this too, besides you guys. Let's face it. You got Titan sitting right there. You got this could be just the beginning.
Yeah.
It is, and for me to commit to the track repairs, I had to get my core group of industry that I felt like could justify it.
Sure.
Right.
Now that we're starting to get it up to speed, now we can branch out and start to look at other industry and go, hey, would this be of a service to you? And I told myself that we'll start doing that in this coming year a little bit. We want to get our feet under us a little bit and kind of, learning rail has been a little eye-opener.
I was going to say, what a big, it's a big bite to.
It's just, everything's slower.
Yeah.
That's
okay, though. It's all right to slow down a little bit.
It's not my mentality.
I know. But so you've done so much to move the needle forward, and it's okay to take a step back and be like, okay, well, we want to do this strategically. And I think you're really good at doing that. So, and again, I'm not trying to fluff your ass, but I do, when I look at you, I think that you're one of the guys in Quincy, especially, just being local, it's impressive to have somebody who has this foresight to say, well, I could look at this rail and say, well, it's out of commission. Let's look at a different solution. But you're thinking outside of the box and rather historical box to say, let's just use what we have. It's already there.
Yeah, well, don't get me wrong. There was a stretch where we were about ready to tear out the tracks.
Yeah, I bet.
There's a section of the building we poured concrete over top the tracks. Because we were told we'd never get rail again. So, and that was a difficult decision the day we said, oh, let's tear out this new concrete we just put in. But, it still made, in the bigger picture of it, it still made more sense.
Yeah.
And so I was joking with somebody today, and I go, because they were talking about the Mormons ADM project, and they're like, man, the courage you had to do it. And I go, no, it's a fine line between courage and stupidity.
Stupidity, yeah.
And I go, it's a very fine line.
Yeah.
I go,
yeah.
I was stupid enough to try it, but I guess stubborn enough to stay the course.
Yes. And I think sometimes that's what it takes to you just have to see it through, and you have to have the dedication, which obviously you have. So, yeah.
And that building, while I think the average person would walk through it and it would be intimidating, for me, with my background, I enjoyed that challenge, and it's in my wheelhouse of I'm able to look at the process and go, I'm going to figure out how to make this work again, or I can change this process to fit what we're going to try to do now. And so I enjoy that part.
Yeah, that's cool.
So in that block, the 30th and Chestnut area, you got Ellington School, and then you've got the Mormon ADM complex. Is there anything in that block going all the way up to the old Motorola, Quincy Development Company, or whatever it is? Is there anything in that stretch that you don't own?
Yeah. I have the 3 corners at Chestnut. I've got Ellington, and then I own both sides of the corner there of the west side of 30th Street. But
You, know
then
you have that office building. It's on the east side. You still have that? You have that or
the
not?
office building, that's ADM's.
The ADM still has that.
Yeah,
You
ADM
got the office on the west side.
Yeah, we own everything on the west side
Okay.
of 30th Street, and
Okay.
then, but no, you still have, Titan Wheel to the north,
Right.
And then you have, Robbie Reed with the scrapyard, and
Right.
then Premium Waters,
Yeah.
and then I've got that
Yeah,
other partial.
I mean, up to Locust basically, except for the Quincy Development Center, the old Motorola. is what
I
I'm
only go
talking
about halfway to Locust.
Okay,
Because
yeah,
Titan
that's
Wheel's to the north of me.
Right. Okay, that's
So,
right. Yeah.
so my property starts right where my property stops where Motorola starts.
Okay.
Basically at the creek north of the old train tracks that they got rid of.
So
Okay.
obviously you've had some challenges, some successes. We know that the rail was a challenge that you are seemingly overcoming as the days pass. Are there any other challenges that you didn't really anticipate when you took this on?
That's a
That's a
loaded
big
question.
sigh. I know. Okay,
That's a loaded question.
I'll,
figure
go ahead,
that
I'll
one.
lead. I'll lead. So the other night we were chatting and we were talking about workforce, and you've been in Quincy your whole life.
Yeah,
Ish,
I was born
basically?
here. I lived in Tuscaloosa, Alabama for
Yeah.
5 years.
Whole damn time!
Right?
Short subject right now.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. Okay, so, but things have changed, no doubt. I mean, things are always changing, especially in smaller communities, good, bad, ugly. But when you're talking about, okay, so workforce, you have now you've bitten off this big chunk of adding, capacity. You have to fill that capacity with people.
Yeah, you've got to have bodies.
Yes. Now, workforce, and I don't think that anyone is alone in this struggle, finding people that are not just more bodies. We talked about this the other night.
The labor force today is definitely a different animal.
Yeah.
And I always say it's like, boy, when my dad was around, he would struggle more than anybody else does today because he's just the type that was farm raised and it was hardcore and it was like we've got a job to do, and it's like now it's like we have somewhat had to lower our standards, and I hate to say that, and because we might offend or we might hurt the feelings, and if I tell him what he needs to hear, he might not show up tomorrow.
Right.
And then now I have nobody, and it's a challenging tightrope to walk.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you still have a job to do, and and I think we found a pretty good way to walk that tightrope. And we are very fortunate that we have very little turnover.
Right.
And so I cannot, while I complain about the labor force, it's challenges, but we have very minimal turnover compared to, I would say, the regional average.
Sure.
But you do have to coddle a little more than you used to. You've got to pump them up a little more than you used to.
Right.
And it's like, and you do have to accept a little bit more than you used to.
Disciplinary actions have to be a little less strict.
I got to call
right?
so many
Yes.
employees. It's not even funny.
Well, hey, okay, so
I hate to be you, Bob. No, it's
it's a constant struggle.
I feel like sometimes the rules have to be written a little more in pencil now, as
Yes.
far as, all right, you if you're late so many days, we have to let you go. Now it's kind of going, but boy, he's a great one while he's
can't,
here, and
yeah.
and you kind of go, can we look the other way and have a stern talk?
Yeah.
Because what you always do have to ask yourself is, what does the cost of retraining cost you?
Absolutely.
And how many do you have to go through,
To get
maybe just to get back to where you're at?
right.
At best.
And of course, I was
And
kidding
so
because I have
I-
wonderful employees.
So I that's where I feel like that our turnover is minimal, but because I think we've kind of, we've struck a pretty good balance of this is the labor force we have, and it's not, like I said, it's not terrible, but there are challenges and and I would say a lot of those challenges are, as minimum wages went to 15 an hour plus, your lower price point employee isn't worried about losing their job.
Right. There's
Because
another one tomorrow.
they can go get another one
Yeah.
tomorrow.
And across the river, they're also paying 15 now.
And so it's like, back when minimum wage was lower, there was a bigger gap between the wages somebody would get that's a good worker
Yeah.
to minimum wage. Now as minimum wage moved up to 15, you can't move all the other wages up to 30.
Right.
So that gap is narrowed. So somebody that's making $18 an hour, so to say, or 20, they can walk out the door tomorrow and go find somewhere else and probably get that. So
Right.
that's where the labor force has changed. And thank you, JB, for that one.
Right,
And it's
right.
like, and at the end of the day, it's done is move up the cost of living.
Yeah.
But whatever, that's a whole different.
I mean,
animal.
it's logic. I mean, you pay people more, everything goes up. It is what it
does.
is. But I think that it's good that, because when we were talking about a specific instance the other night, disciplinary actions had to be taken, and I could I could sense that you were like a little bummed that it had to happen that way, but also I can applaud the fact that you're not allowing yourself to be walked on, because not only does that create kind of a toxicity amongst the other people who are working hard.
And I will go through the plant, and I'll stir the pot.
Yeah.
Sometimes. So other times I'm just going.
Get off your phone!
But
yeah, that's exactly
when
what it was.
when I walked in and walked through the plant, there was a guy that was on the production line looking at his phone, playing on his phone, and he was at the lead of the production line, so he dictated the pace of everybody behind him.
Right.
And he's playing on his phone. I walked up to him and I said, "You can put your phone down, or you can go home."
Right.
And
multiple times, right?
And as I said that, he's still playing on his phone. I said it 3 times, and he never put his phone down while I said it. And I just looked at him and I go, "You have a choice. Phone down or go home." And he looked at me and goes, "I'll go home."
Yeah.
Wow.
Which just seems asinine.
And needless to say, that was his last day.
Yeah. But I think that's important. But it's hard to keep that balance. I mean, it really is hard to keep that balance of you're trying to have a very productive workforce, but you also have to make sure that it's,
And there, quite frankly, there are some people who out there who really think it's just cheaper to sit home.
Do you think that started?
I don't work. I can get by. It's cheaper.
Do you think it started with like COVID? I mean, obviously the minimum wage raise did have something to do with it, but I think
the remote workforce.
COVID changed it,
Absolutely.
and I think really and this was a younger person. I really think it's the American dream has changed a little bit.
Ethic, yeah.
They don't have the goals of owning the home or bettering themselves. They're just content. Do they have enough to have fun this weekend?
Right.
And they're not planning ahead. They don't care. They're just living free.
Mm-hmm.
And so if that person got let go, he's sitting there in his mind going, "I'm good for the weekend. I'll go figure something out tomorrow, Monday."
Yeah.
Well, then you have places that pay like by the day, by the week. I mean, you have things have just significantly changed where it used to be, your goal was to enter the workforce and climb the ladder, right? That was the thing.
But you've also got the attitude where people who come into a company think they ought to be the CEO in 6 months.
That's the hardest. I think that's the hardest part is you do have some of the labor force. They want to be supervisors, but they don't want that responsibility.
Yeah.
But they want
Well,
supervisor
they also
pay.
don't know how to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, I'm the opposite. I'm like, if you start on the bottom end and work your way up and learn every skill, every task, everything else, then you create value.
Sure.
You earn your value. It's not given to you.
Right.
And I don't know. It's just,
It's a different ethic. I mean, it really is.
But now we've got some younger ones that solid.
Yeah.
And so they're still out there.
I think that a lot of it, in my opinion, is kind of how you're raised and what you're
100%.
sent out to, so you mentioned your dad, and we were talking the other night about, you said, I can't imagine what my dad would do. I said he would do it all on his own. He would fire every last worker and be like, I am doing it on my own, because he had no time for that kind of shit. Yeah.
He would not tolerate that. And with me, it's like I'm kind of trying that happy balance of the two, and I'm going, I can't do it all, especially when it's into this avenue. It's like I can't go staff a warehouse of this size and do all that. So it's like, as much as I want to, I can't.
Yeah.
And
it's interesting that you mentioned like the American dream, because I do see the recurring theme of, the boomers could buy a house for, $30,000, and then now it's worth this much. Now you can't buy a house for, $100,000 with it being, you can, but it's
skewing at a dangerous trajectory, but I don't have the answer.
Right. Yeah.
At the end of the day, the cost of construction is what it is.
Yeah.
And a lot of that's wage and material driven.
Yeah.
So it's
This generation is fine renting. They don't see the value in home ownership.
I think part of it is they don't want to be committed to anything.
Sure.
And that gives them that freedom. If they rent something, they could quit tomorrow, move tomorrow, go to a different town, and have no commitments. And
they can't.
Kudos to them.
They really can't afford, so they're like, well, let's just
What's
rent.
the point? What's the point?
What's the point of what? Yeah. I mean, it really is kind of a vicious cycle, but I think that it's something that you as a business owner and developer, not letting that kind of stuff get in your way is pretty neat. Yeah.
Don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Well, and again, and you've been such a strong advocate for local businesses in general. And of course, one of the things that has been coming up has been this on the local front has been the sports complex. I know your wife's on the committee, and it looks like they're sort of trying to get some parameters nailed down. And I noticed that I mentioned Trevor Beck earlier. I noticed that the building that he and Jared Allensworth own has now been turned into the QND and the Quincy Catholic Elementary Schools, now running it for some much-needed gym space. And I know that that's a start. But I know the sports complex is a big part of it. And I know you are no longer in the hospitality business, so to speak.
Sure.
But still, when you look at the food and beverage tax, which you were very a vocal critic of.
Just a little bit.
And now, the way it exists, yes, you and Brittany were the top two. But now that it's here now, it seems to me the logical step is for that thing to pay at least some of the freight for a sports complex.
100%. It's my take is the food and beverage brings in 1.6 to 1.8 million dollars a year. And what are we getting out of it right now?
It's not earmarked.
It's going to whoever screams whatever and gives me 10,000, gives me 20.
There's no plan.
And so there's no measurable way to calculate return on investment.
Right.
There's no parameters, there's no guidelines.
No criteria.
It's a free for all. And that was my complaint when it was formed. There was no
I remember
source.
that.
Where's it going?
Yeah.
I was like, there's no source to it. There's no rules on how we're going to spend it.
Right.
So that just becomes a secondary bank account to the city.
There's no goal other than just amass money.
So like when the city paid $500,000 or $1 million to Target to come here out of the food and beverage.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't that come out of the sales tax? So again, but they had the money. They're going, well, let's do it out of the food and beverage.
Sure.
So when you look at, the sports complex, that's a big ask. And I'm not saying I'm for or against at this point, but my take is we need to have this conversation because we as a city, you have a choice. We can keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
And you get what we're currently getting, which is
the definition of insanity.
Tax increases. Our costs to run the city are not going to drop as wages go up,
right,
as healthcare goes up, as pensions go up. So if we aren't willing to at least have a conversation of how do we grow our sales tax, all of us that live here,
we're going to foot the bill.
Our pie slice is going to get bigger. Because conversations are cheap. Now, am I saying we start writing checks on sports yet? No, but we got to have the conversation. But if when I look at a funding, I'm going. We have food and beverage that brings in that 1.6 to 1.8.
You have food and beverage. You have hotel motel.
Correct.
Those are the two things that should fund the sports complex.
Correct.
And I know the hotel motel. A lot of that goes to the OLC right now. But that being said, it should then some of that should they could figure out a way where part of this is going to go to the sports. If you really want to do this and do it right, that's what you got to do.
Here's your carrot. Let's just say you're going to bring in 1.8 on food and beverage right now. Let's say we're going to take half of that to the sports complex, but then we're going to take food and beverage tax from 1% to 2%, and 100% of that additional goes to the sports complex. Now you're 2.5, 2.6. That will pay your nut on anything you build.
If you still owned what you owned, would you be advocating this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he said before that is one. If this plan were enacted, that is one thing that I think local business owners would not shake their heads at because it is, in essence, doing exactly what the food and bev tax should do, and that is bringing butts to seats, heads in beds.
Yep.
Well, and
the dollars
exactly.
here.
And so, and to further it up, raise hotel motel too a little bit, and then that extra goes to the food and goes to the sports
center. But yes, I think yes, you go most of it's still the OLC for operations or whatever, and then but I think, and again, for them to do this and do it right, because let's be honest, when you built the Oakley Lindsay Center, you built it half-assed. It's a nice facility for what it does. It could have been so much more, but they cut corners.
It's not going to serve
Don't
us.
cut the corners this time.
You fail.
Do it
You'll
right.
fail.
You cut the corners when you built the new elementary schools because you have cracker box gyms that nobody can use and shitty HVA systems, as you well know.
Yeah, there's a few of those coming
up. you cut corners on these things. Do not cut the corners. Dedicate the funding stream to get it done right.
It's one of those that you can't say you're going to go build a sports complex and spend $10 million and get there.
That's what I was going to say.
This is
Yeah.
30,
It's
40, $50 million.
phases.
Exactly.
Now the catch is ultimately, they picked a site. People can critique the site, this or that. At the end of the day, it's being donated.
Yeah.
So
Can't bitch about that.
Right now, we've written 0 checks.
Yeah.
So first,
And what is
now,
it, 10 acres?
Yeah, 10
Yeah.
acres,
Yeah.
but there's room to grow.
There's room
Okay.
to grow
But-
and you either have other willing parties who are willing to sell
It's a pretty
other
damn good
parts
start,
of it.
a donated
but you
land
also
parcel.
have, the owners who would if once this gets built, hey, I'll put my own hotel there. Hey, I'll
Sure.
put my own restaurants there.
It'll drive it.
Nothing wrong with that. That's entrepreneurism. God bless them.
And so there's criticism of why are we picking this site? At the end of the day, you've got to have a site earmarked, allocated, or picked before you can even start to go to the state, look at grant opportunities or
Sure.
anything else. So this is the first
Or make
step.
a plan for a footprint.
You've got to have a plan
Yeah.
to even apply for a grant or look at what opportunities are out there or to do anything. So it's like, is this the end step? No. And I
gotta be a
really think
discovery
Linda's
phase.
done a great job
Yeah.
at this point of steering it to this point.
David Adam. Shout out.
And David, and it's like I think that she's having the conversations. I welcome those conversations, and it's like, does it mean we're going to go do it right now? No, but we've got to have these
It should be on the
conversations, or
table.
we're not
And for
going to get
people,
there.
for people who said we've missed the boat, we should have done this a long time ago. K&L, what happened here?
K&L's problem was the same thing, too small.
Yeah.
There's also location.
Well,
Let's be honest.
Size. You don't even have a full-size field.
It's also out in BFE, man.
But also
That wouldn't matter.
No,
What?
BFE isn't.
No, we've been to, my wife's traveled all over the country.
Yeah.
If this complex could be in Liberty,
But also
and it would
was
still,
it was
you're
not
going to draw.
marketed
But if it's
correctly.
built big enough, if it's the right site.
It's
Yeah.
K&L.
Here's-
Had a micro-sized field with too short a ceiling. You can't sit there and say we're going to host tournaments on a quarter field. No.
Also, I don't think that was the goal because they
It was
never
not.
really tried to do that.
No.
So as a privately owned
It was not.
company, you can't dictate what they're doing. And I'm not saying the city should be, primary owner, but if we were going to do things right and we marketed correctly and we went into it with the goal of bringing people to Quincy. This is a whole marketing
This
plan
has
for
to
Quincy.
be a government-led project at the end of the day. It would not cash flow privately. Government has they have the ability to get bonds at a lower rate than Joe Blow could go to the bank and get a loan for.
Or a partnership between.
Ultimately, it needs to be city governments or local governing authorities leading the charge with the hope of some corporations jumping in behind for naming rights
Sponsoring
and things
it,
like
yes,
that. And it becomes a public-private partnership.
Yes, which is
but
what
you
we need.
need to be able to utilize city's bonding authority because, when you start talking about $30, $40 million, $50 million, you need the ability to borrow that money at a much lower interest rate.
And myself as a consumer,
And
if
you have
I'm
no
going
taxes.
to a local establishment, and would I mind paying another 1% if it's going to do
If it's
me-
going to something.
if it's going to do something like maybe in the future lower my
Property tax.
right.
Here's the other
100%.
thing that people are going to have to realize if they want the state's help. The fact that House Speaker Chris Welch, in the last budget, he, of course, is the Speaker of the House, the seat that Mike Madigan had, so he has the most stroke in state government. He's from I always get Hillsdale and Hinsdale confused. I think it's Hillsdale.
I think so.
Proviso East-West, one of those. He just got $40 million allocated for that. Say we would we ain't getting $40 million. Say we would like 10 to 20. Great.
Hell, 5.
Take anything. But here's what's going to happen. If we even want that, and we currently also have 5 representatives in the Illinois General Assembly. We have 3 House members, we have 2 senators. The problem is, if we want any money from the state that is going to be this state, which has a supermajority of Democrats in the General Assembly and a Democrat governor, if you're going to want any of that money, our local representatives are going to have to vote for a budget that they're not going to want to vote for. Because the state's going to say, great, we'll gladly, here, Quincy Adams County, here's your $10 million that you get for your sports complex. All you have to do is vote for the overall budget. Are they going to do that? Will they do that? Can they do that? And will not get shit for doing that from their constituents?
My take is, at the end of the day, whether, say, a local representative voted or for or against that budget, the budget was going to pass regardless. But if you can hit your horse and get what you need to get out of it, that's better than just doing the token no vote
that's what
to say I'm voting no out of spite.
Exactly.
I mean,
but
do the
they're going to
math.
have to do that. They're going to have to eat some shit to do that and not listen to the Tea Party crowd going, why'd you vote for that budget? Because we wanted the sports facility. That's why.
It's, it's the truth of it.
Yeah.
Now, it's easy for us to say that.
It's
but
pragmatism. I'm sorry, there is no pragmatism allowed in this state anymore.
Well,
I'm sorry, there's no pragmatism allowed in this area anymore.
I think you have to take a step back and look at what you want it to look like. You can't bitch about taxes increasing constantly, but not looking at future possibility. And you have to know what's involved in accomplishing those future possibilities to maybe on the back end make us all kind of breathe a little easier with
I'm just saying, we
tax
had a small
increases
group of knuckleheads who protested when the governor came to town and
well, that's because we hate the governor, to be quite fair.
But we cut the ribbon for $300 million we got from the state to keep a veterans home.
Mm-hmm.
How about for one? How
Pick your
about
battles. Pick
how
your
about bitch about the state 364 days a year and one day keep your mouth shut?
Yeah.
pick your battles, and it's like
Exactly.
and obviously I've been a very vocal opponent of most of the things state does, but pick your battles, and I don't know if that was the best one I would have fought that day.
Brittany keeps putting notes up, and I can't read this one.
Speaking of putting the horse before the cart, I guess we want to talk about your Clydesdales now.
No, a cow, the hairy cow. You got a new cow.
Well, yeah. Well,
You have
Christmas
cows?
present.
You got
Christmas
horses?
We have horses. We have cows. Many cows.
Horses,
Old McDonald.
cows.
Mini
Old
cows.
McDonald, old McBooth.
I mean, how do you think they got sliders?
So I asked if the Booth Farm had a name. You don't have a name for.
No, we have
for-
not settled on one at this point.
Yeah.
We feel
the
like it's
funny
become
farm.
more of a funny farm at this
It's
point.
perfect.
But
I love it. So you have Clydesdales.
we have Clydesdales.
How many?
We have 9 Clydesdales.
Okay.
We have 3 Friesians and 4 standard breds.
Okay.
On the horses. So
They're beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're beautiful and they eat a lot and shit a lot.
Yeah, I was going to say, definitely work that goes into that, but as we said before, you're no stranger to hard work. Then you also just welcomed a new family member to the funny farm.
Yeah, we've had too many cows, and then now we went out and found those many cows a boyfriend.
Okay,
So.
okay. Now, was this a Jess venture, or was this?
This was a Jess venture, I guess, that I okayed after too many cocktails on Christmas Eve at Kelly's.
So she knows what she's doing.
So, our tradition's always been go to Kelly's for Christmas Eve because
Yes.
the kids are at their dad's house at that point, so we go to Kelly's. And
Yeah.
so, 3 hours deep, next thing you know, we're on Facebook agreeing to
Looking
go
at
pick up a cow just a little south of Indianapolis.
Okay, so
after-
now it's not
after
just a
then.
cow. What kind of cow is this?
It's a mini Highland.
It's beautiful. They're like the hairy looking.
Big hairy with the horns on 'em, and-
they're the best.
He's a little shy yet, but,
He'll get there.
oh yeah.
How old is he?
2.
And his name is
Lane.
Lane. So now we talked about what?
I don't know if it's
Kiffin.
Lane Kiffin or Lane Frost.
I think it's Lane Kiffin because
I
he's
think
wearing his
Frost.
Ole Miss blue because he's unhappy with his tide right now.
Well, we got to cheer on somebody tonight.
So Lane is 2. Now we asked you the question of are you going to breed, and if that's a bridge you want to cross.
I mean, I think
We're talking about the cow still, right?
I'm not going to do the breeding, so the cow is. So
There you go.
He's
There
in the
you
same
go.
pasture, so
Hey, there
I
you
believe
go.
he'll take care of business
That's
there. I mean,
awesome.
he's already been
Nature
sweet talking
calls.
them.
Yes.
And it's like, so I would say that come next fall, there'll probably be a couple of rivals.
Yes, I love it. I
How
love
many
it. I love
Clydesdales
it.
do you have now?
9 of
9,
them.
he said. Yeah. Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah. And,
Now, so you went
Can
from.
you pull a wagon?
yeah, we've got 2 of them that hitch up to the wagon. They were actually trained by a retired Anheuser guy, so
Yeah.
they're pretty solid.
I don't know what that means.
Locals
Brittany.
only. She wants to talk about locals only, which we will.
About in the beginning.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So so you went from Spring Lake to the Funny Farm. Mm-hmm. What have you? It seems like a pretty drastic change. I mean, you're like, well, I guess we want to have more land, or what prompted it? Because this is another change that happened over the last 2.5 years.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
I guess the desire for space.
Sure.
And it's like
Didn't you have a boatload of space up there?
we did.
Yeah, but breathing room without, you don't have cows and you don't have.
Trust me, I
bicycles.
tried to.
I want to make a Housewives of Spring Lake joke, but I won't.
And that was my pitch when we were looking at when Jess wanted to move, and I was like, we already have acreage, let's do it. And she was blunt and probably right. And she goes, when are you going to have time to actually build all this
Yeah.
if we want to stay here?
Yeah.
So you win. So
Point taken. You win, Jess.
Fine.
Nice work.
There's a beautiful barn out south of town.
Yes.
Fine.
I love it.
So that kind of forced that or prompted that. And,
Sure.
it's kind of different now. Whereas with livestock at home, you watch the weather, or you worry about more of the weather than you did when I lived in Spring Lake. I'd just like pull the truck in the garage and park.
Yeah.
And now it's going, shoot, I better get the hay put out or this or that. And and it's like those big guys eat a lot of hay. So it's like
What a
here we go.
different lifestyle. Are you loving it?
Yeah.
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 Don't
Good.
you have kids that can do that shit though?
Yeah.
Feed the damn cows.
I'm just a little worried about the tractor driving through the side of the barn. So we
Yeah,
haven't
there
turned
you
over
go.
that key yet.
Yeah, you got to pick your battles. Got to pick your battles.
Okay, you drive the tractor and tell them to unload,
Well,
man.
Jess does the gate and I'm in the tractor. And
Okay. Wow.
You're making it work. You're doing it well. So we were talking earlier about the sports
Green
complex,
acres.
bringing people to Quincy. Can we talk a little bit about locals only, which of course Brittany was wearing the sweatshirt. It's Hollister's slogan. Is that what it is? Yeah. But locals only. Now, Quincy, we do have a tendency to be very, I don't want to say cliquey because that's
Provincial.
It's kind of a negative.
Provincial.
Okay.
It is.
But we like our people, to be dedicated to Quincy, doing the good things for Quincy, community driven. As the sports complex, just taking it back a little bit, my thought has always been the goal. I forget what the thing was, like 50 by
45 by 30.
That was it. Okay.
So we're sitting at 39. We've really kicked it in gear there.
Well, so we haven't made any progress there.
No.
Right?
No.
Okay.
But we spent
45
1.8
by
million a
30.
year with nothing.
Okay.
45 by
Back to that food and beverage.
45 by 30. So, so this was my thing, and this has always been kind of my my thought process behind the sports complex, because you can poo-poo it all day long. You're welcome to your opinion. I like the idea to bring money in, but also have people kind of ebb and flow. Like, we don't need a lot of people coming into Quincy and impacting our infrastructure that we can't currently support. And growing the population growth to me doesn't necessarily mean growing the population.
I think that we can all look at the historical data from Quincy, from the 40s to now, and our population, good, bad, or indifferent, is stagnant.
Right.
Now, it could be worse because there's other cities like Keokuk
They're dying.
where it's went the other way.
Yeah.
Macomb.
So it's not all doom and gloom, but at the end of the day, we're not in a favorable climate for businesses to locate to Quincy politically, but also geographically.
Sure.
So, a corporation's not going to go move to Quincy because we're still 2 hours from a major airport. Yes, we have air service in Quincy, and I'm kind of curious to try it out, and I hope it's better.
Yeah.
But that's the dilemma we face as a city. Can we add some business here and there? Yeah, but we're not going to all of a sudden wake up tomorrow and some tech industry is going to open up in Quincy and move 1,000 jobs here.
Right.
It's not going to happen.
We did have Amazon. I do want to shout that out. That was pretty cool.
We did, but we lost United Alloys, so we tread water.
Ah, gotcha.
And honestly, United Alloys was better paying jobs. Amazon is actually, I just found out today, everybody that works there is 4 hours max a day.
Whoa.
4
Okay.
hours. That's the
That's
most.
not good.
That way they don't have to do benefits.
4 hours a day.
4 hours a day.
So just part-time job.
And you go to an app
Wait, I
at
thought
noon
you-
and you
I
find
thought
out
you
what
could go
time you're
to
coming in.
29 and a half hours a week without benefits.
I agree. I don't know why they're at 20, but it's but they have to go to an app at noon, and then they get to pick a shift to work from
that's awesome.
then on in the afternoon. So I don't know that that's the windfall that we all thought it was going to be.
It's also not really our Quincy culture.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. And
Yeah,
so it's
okay.
like, so at the end of the day, it's like we're celebrating Amazon coming, but United
it really
Alloys was
bringing?
40 plus people of higher wage jobs.
Right.
So it's like that's a bigger loss. So it's now do I see opportunity where we get some industry here and there? Yes, I do, because I'm in the industrial
in it.
side, and there's some things we're working with that could lead to that. But if we sit here and say we're going to rely on Quincy to grow to fill our tax coffers,
It's not going to work.
we're going to miss that train.
Yeah.
We're going to miss that train.
Yeah.
And, so we have to look at, as much as we are all about local Quincy, if we want to have less of a load on us locals, let's welcome some tourists.
Right. That's what I'm thinking. Yes, as tourists. So the food and bev tax, and this going back to that, I think increasing that even, a small amount, very incrementally, would pay back those local business owners and the citizens of Quincy.
tenfold.
Yeah.
Tenfold.
Okay.
You know, and so it's like, for me, being in the liquor business, I hated the food and beverage, not because of what it cost me at the liquor store. It didn't cost
Just
me
the
a penny.
principle of
It didn't cost me a penny at the liquor store. For me, it was pass-through tax.
Yeah.
I wasn't at a bar that's selling a bucket of beer for $10 and now had to give up a little bit more.
You were selling some beers at the
But minuscule,
not
minuscule,
much. It was
not
nothing.
enough.
Yeah,
I
not
was a
enough to brag about.
opponent of it because there was no use for it.
There's no goal.
Right. It was
But I think when
dedicated.
you look at the local restaurants, whether it be a bar, or Spring Street, you know, North End, or Kelly's, or the Abbey, you know, any of the McLean establishments, or even the Range or other places, if you go get sports in town and you go put 200 people in town 2 or 3 weekends a year,
Yeah.
a month,
Yeah.
you don't think there will be more people sitting at Kelly's eating
Sure.
dinner in between games, or at the Range hitting golf balls?
Right. Yeah.
And so when all of a sudden that person's paying their food and beverage number tax report for that month,
It's a little less.
they're
going to
look at it and go, well, our sales have went up.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get the pushback because they're going to see the direct result of it. And so even say a place like, let's pick a dive bar.
Yeah.
Is a tourist going to probably go there? No, but maybe somebody local goes there because their regular spot was too busy.
Yeah.
It all trickles down.
It all does. Yeah.
And so it's like, I don't think you would see pushback there of going, let's use that. And really, when you break down food and beverage, is it an astronomical amount on anybody's yearly budget?
No.
You don't even notice it.
Yeah.
I mean, you go.
It was more on the principle of it that we don't know what we're using it for. We're just
Right.
going to instate
Yeah,
it because
because-
we need money.
Yeah.
If you go spend $100, it costs you $1.
Yeah.
That did not impact your decision to go out that night or
Right.
not.
You were going out anyway.
Right.
And it's always been there was no purpose to it.
Right.
That was always my take. It was not the economics. So
Yeah.
at that same token, I'm going, if I went out and I spent $100 and it became $2, I'm not mad if all my
it's
friends
gonna
that
come back
own,
to us.
if my Rod McLean's, my Jeff's, my Gabe's, friend McLean, and Trevor, and those guys that are in the hospitality industry are benefiting, I'm not mad.
Yeah.
I'm going, heck yeah, let's everybody win.
Well, I think you guys need to have a conversation with the datums of the world and just be like, let's throw this out on the table. Let's come up with a viable solution, a viable plan. Let's get it moving. And for the people who think we've missed the bus, you will be saying the same thing in 10 years when we don't have another solution to what we're faced with currently.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
100%. And so it's, if you can come up with $3 million a year, which you could out of food and beverage and hotel motel,
Easy.
that would fund your $30 or $40 million complex in a heartbeat.
There you go.
Yeah, that pays for
And,
bonding.
and it didn't come out of our property tax bill.
Right.
It didn't, it didn't come from any of that.
Yeah.
And so it's like, as locals, well, heck yeah, let's try it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, nothing to apologize for. I love the ideas. I love thinking outside the box. I love the strategic thinking behind it, which obviously you're no stranger to. Really cool that this is full circle for Club Muddy. Very, very neat.
We're still talking
Oh, football. I was trying to cut it off. Listen, I like football. I don't really know.
All right,
You
real
guys,
quick.
I'll sit here and look sort
pretty.
of.
Look pretty.
I'm gained a little weight since our first
shut up.
club, and I'm not as tan, and my hair's shorter.
Mizzou, Alabama. Mizzou fell short of what I thought they might do this year. I'm glad they kept Drinkwitz. A lot of my Mizzou buddies aren't, but I'm like, I'm fine. I think he's solid. He brings guys in. He's got to find a new offensive coordinator, which he did.
What I always say in a situation like that, Bob, is for the people that wanted Drinkwitz gone,
Who are you going to hire?
are you going to replace it with anything better?
No, they weren't.
And so you better watch what you wish for, because it could end worse, and you could have DeBoer over Saban.
Did you want DeBoer to take another job?
I wanted him to. I hate to admit it. I was cheering at home for Auburn to beat Alabama,
So they would have fired him then.
and then he might have went to Penn State. Yeah. And
Isn't that like
that's how bad.
sacrilegious? You're not supposed to root again.
You got
Especially
to
Auburn.
go for the bigger prize.
Strategy.
Yeah, it was,
All right.
this was 3D. This was 3D chess, 4D
The-
chess.
and that was the tough one.
You're probably not heartbroken that Ty Simpson's leaving either.
No, I mean he did better than I thought.
It's the Alabama
but-
quarterback who just declared for the NFL.
But the second half of the season, and I think he was banged up pretty bad. But also, I think as the competition got tougher, he became more pedestrian. And you're not going to win in today's college football unless you're elite, generally at the quarterback position. And you look at the teams in the playoff tonight and tomorrow; they all have pretty solid quarterbacks.
But the thing is, had Auburn beaten Alabama and DeBoer left, would Lane Kiffin then be at Alabama instead of LSU?
I think that conversation could have happened. You know, because at the end of the day, don't get me wrong, LSU is an elite job. But Kiffin knows what Saban built at Bama. And while DeBoer's kind of taking that Cadillac and put a couple scrapes and dents on it, it's still there. The system is still there. The fundamentals are there. And that, you know, we were kind of cheering on, going, all right, let's lose to Auburn, and then let's hurt and lose to Auburn for Lane Seisen's contract at LSU, because I think it would be a heck of a conversation at that point. Does Lane jump ship? I don't know.
You survived Dennis Franchione and Shula. I mean, come on. Bama is, Bear Bryant, Bill, you know, actually go back. I mean, Bama is like on one of the 4 Mount Rushmore programs of college football. Mm-hmm. And they've had coaches who've carried it through, and Saban, of course, took it to the next level. I also think the NIL is going to make it really tough for any school. I think it's the NIL with all the other schools and all the other conferences now just totally whoring it out. I think it's going to be real tough for the SEC to ever have that kind of dominance again.
Yeah, well, I mean, at the end of the day, SEC schools by nature.
So aroused right now.
SEC.
I'm over here just sign languaging to Britt. Sorry, I am intrigued.
Other than a Texas, SEC schools for the most part don't have the alumni money and the TV money of, say, a Big Ten that has the big markets. So at the end of the day,
or the tech guys. Like Cuban is funding
Cuban.
all of Indiana's
or
shit.
Phil Knight.
Phil Knight in Oregon. I'm saying they need a sugar daddy. They need a sugar daddy.
Okay. So
it's Stan Kroenke, please come back and help us.
And a lot of it is also the SEC's dominant run was pre-NIL. You could build a dominant program. Your staying power now is more difficult with NIL because the transfer portal, NIL, and that's why Saban got out. Yeah. At the end of the day, you can't sit there and go, I brought this kid as a freshman, he's going to still be here, I'll build him up. Well, now as a freshman, if I don't get playing time, I'm gone.
Yeah.
And
these kids are making millions of dollars to go play for another college now.
Yeah, but it's like the workforce. If you're not getting paid, you don't care. You're out the door.
You're gone.
That's right.
You're gone. And who's going to pay me more?
See?
And I can't fault the players. You know, if they can make more money, have at it. You know, the only thing I guess I wish would change on that one is if you're going to get paid, you need to honor a contract.
Because you
got to learn responsibility.
You're going to one. You can only transfer once a year.
Yeah.
Some of these guys are going 2-3 times a year.
Yeah. Well, like perfect one was we benefited from it. Saban retired. Caden Proctor, left tackle, transferred to Iowa. Went to Iowa for spring practice. Got $500,000 in NIL money. Didn't like it. Transferred back to Alabama. And played at Alabama. Never missed a game at Alabama, but got $500,000 from Iowa.
Yeah. So he didn't have to pay any of that
money?
back?
No, because there's no contract.
I see. We got to
So
that.
there's no contract. So I'm like, if you want to be the traditional college student of I'm going to get a scholarship and get free tuition and I'm not getting paid, do what you want to do.
Yeah.
You can transfer, you can leave. If you want to get paid, you need to be like an NFL player that's under contract. If your team wasn't as good as you thought, you're still under contract.
Yeah.
And so it's like
you got to stay for a year.
I'd say 2.
You say 2? Okay, I'm gonna say
unless there's a coaching change, maybe. You know, you start putting the caveats, but
sure.
But if you're going to get paid, you've got to hold up your end of the bargain.
Yeah.
But now, if you just want to go there for a free scholarship and you don't like it because the coach yelled at you, or the coach did this and that, and you want to transfer, have at it. I don't care.
Yeah.
But if you're going to get paid, like I said, with Proctor going to Iowa and back,
that's shady.
You know, or Washington just had their quarterback do the same thing. He just got NIL money, and then now he's back in the portal.
But as somebody who's bringing the guy who got the $500,000, and aren't you thinking that he's going to do the same, like somebody who's unfaithful to their spouse? Don't you think like, oh well, obviously they're going to do the same to us?
I think right now they're just going, I'll take the chance.
Really?
You know, or we'll just pay him enough.
Hell analogy there, Ash.
I'm trying to relate it, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I mean, you would think that,
or you just go, well, I'll find somebody else if he
no
leaves.
Loyalty, yeah.
It's a revolving door.
Yeah.
There's no loyalty. It is what it is. And,
yeah, that's crazy.
I don't know. It's college football as we know it's going to change.
It's wild to me that fans are so loyal to a team, but the players have no loyalties to their team. Isn't that weird? That's pretty freaking weird.
because
What
we're
do
not
you
getting
say?
paid to be a fan.
That's right.
You know,
unless
We're a
you're on
fan.
DraftKings.
We're a fan because we went to school there,
There
or we
you
live in
go.
that
Yeah.
state,
Ashley.
or what have you.
You can be a great employee of Muddy River, but
Yeah.
if somebody throws you $2 million
I'm never leaving.
to go say something else is great.
I'm never leaving.
See?
So
You're
and
the
now,
best.
and now
I
you-
got loyalties,
and also
baby.
now you're
Right.
dealing with 18 and 19-year-olds.
Yeah.
And you go put life-changing money in front of them, they're gonna go.
Yeah, again, I think it's just a change, just again, to bring it full circle, it's just a change in kind of what's important to me. I mean, I'm working for a company, John Henry Foster, that their goal is to have you retire from them.
Yeah.
And then they treat you as such. So obviously I want to repay that with loyalties to them. I have been offered other jobs.
But you're happy.
Right? I'm happy with the company. I'm happy to hear, like if somebody were to offer me $2 million, Bobby, we'd have to have a conversation. But my loyalties lie where they lie. So, yeah.
And you're in the rare air these
Really?
days. You know, and it's
Yeah.
just, you know, and, but like
Probably the way I was
difference
raised.
is you're talking
You're also
as a
mature.
you're talking
I don't
somebody in
mean
your
old.
40s, you know, and you're not talking with the mental makeup of an 18-year-old, and a lot of these 18-year-olds grew up with nothing.
Right. I
And you
also
go put
have,
that
I
kind of
feel
money
like
in front
I've
of 'em,
achieved
you
my
take
dream
it.
and I'm kind of like, yeah, I'm good. I don't need to shoot for the stars. I'm good.
It's just
We're done with football talk now. So
Oh, good.
You can,
okay.
You can toss us
No,
out.
that's it. I think I think we could sit here all night and talk about everything under the sun. Booth, you have always been an outstanding community member. I love following you on social media. You and your wife are two of the best people ever. You've done great things for Quincy. You continue to make moves that not very many people would do, just out of sheer, I don't know,
Stubbornness?
chicken shit.
Pluck.
But I mean, it's like you mentioned courage. You have to have courage to make these changes. You also have to have, just shoot for the moon. Let's see what happens. So you continue to do that. I give you ultimate kudos. Love that you came back. You'll have to come back and be.
yeah, maybe we'll make it a little more frequent. You know,
Every
it's
year.
gonna be every year.
Yeah.
Every year.
Yeah. Well,
Maybe we start like every January.
There we
first
go.
one.
He starts the year with
there
it.
we go. And then I think, as the sports commission talk, moves forward, I would love to have the one time we did the panel about the food and bev tax. I would love to have another conversation with other business owners to see
Yeah,
what's on their mind.
And me personally, I'll probably get more involved vocally or
Yeah.
whatever you want to, locally, I guess, not
Sure.
vocally, but I'll probably get more involved on sports as it evolves.
Can't run. He lives outside the city. He can't
Yeah.
run from there. He'll move. He'll buy a house.
There you go.
He'll buy a house.
But for
Neighbors
now,
frown upon Clydesdales in the city limits.
But for now, Jess, the animal acquirer, is on the sports complex committee, and
is,
she's
she
doing a
is.
great job. And there's a great group of people on that committee. I have full confidence in all of them, and I think we're going to move this forward the way that it should be, which is not putting the Clydesdale or the cart before the Clydesdale,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay. See? Boom.
Whoa, Nelly. We'll talk to you next time.
Oh shit.
They call that work-life balance.
Yeah.
Good luck
Still
with
working on
that.
that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and don't get me wrong, I enjoy it or I wouldn't do it.
Right.
But
Sure.
also, you don't want to be 20 years from now being, I wish I would have done that or that.
Right,
And
right.
So time already seems like it's just flying.
It is.
And-
I think that's
and-
it's just a thing about getting older. Bob can probably tell us more about that, but
Yeah, it's time
no, I'm
flies.
kidding. Yeah.